India Today brings you the verified ground coverage. First, the headlines. Russia continues to ramp up its attack on various Ukrainian cities. Russian troops are headed toward the Kharkiv hydroelectric power plant, which is about 100 kilometers south of Kyiv. These are claims from Ukraine. Ukraine also claims that Russian troops have captured 2 Ukrainian nuke power plants and is advancing toward the third. Ukraine President Zelensky said Russians have already captured Chernobyl and Zaporizhzhia power plant and are heading toward now the Yuzhno-Krynsk. But the air assault continues by Russia on Ukraine. Images of 3rd Russian and 3 Russian jets in one Mi-35 chopper being shot down by Ukraine surfaced on Saturday. 3 Russian pilots in Ukraine's captivity, says Kyiv. Russia issues now a stern warning to third parties not to intervene in the war. Putin says any attempt to impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine would be considered as a war against Moscow. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden and Ukraine President Zelensky discussed security, financial, humanitarian aid for Ukraine over a phone call as Russia continues to scale up attack on Ukraine. But Britain's government says it is moving quickly to lock up UK-based fortunes of billionaires with links to Kremlin. However, critics say it is not happening fast enough. But the Ukraine-Russia war has become all about the defining, haunting images. Take a look at these 7 defining images presently on your screen. Different cities where the assault is on. And one by one, you'll know how precisely the situation is surfacing, whether it is Mariupol or Kyiv or Kharkiv, and importantly, even Chernobyl, where now Ukraine is claiming has been captured. These are 7 main images coming in from Ukraine. But the big news now coming in, Ukrainian authorities are negotiating now to arrange the evacuation of Hostomel and Bucha, which are in the Kyiv region. Because remember, these 2 areas, Hostomel and Bucha, are constantly being shelled by the Russian troops for days now. But the second attempt to evacuate civilians from Mariupol will also begin soon. Now, according to Donetsk Oblast Governor Pavlo Krylenko, a temporary ceasefire will take place from 3:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. Indian Standard Time. What does that mean? Russian forces yesterday broke the ceasefire agreement to provide evacuation, and there will be further attempts. Take a look at these visuals of the aftermath of firing, shelling in Ukraine. And a quick look now at all the top developments coming in from the war-torn country as the Russian invasion of Ukraine enters day 11. These are the top developments of the day. On top, according to the State Emergency Service of Ukraine, a missile attack near the Koroston metro station has resulted in death of 1 person at least. 2 others have also received injuries. Just take a look at the aftermath of these attacks. Now, the top big development number 2, Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky has spoken to Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk and has expressed thanks for him for activating the Starlink satellite internet in the war-struck country. Zelensky can be seen in a video call with Musk where he goes forward, invites Musk to Ukraine once the war is over. US President Joe Biden has called Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss ongoing effort to impose economic costs on Russia and to speed US military, humanitarian and economic assistance to Ukraine. Top development number 4, Russian President Vladimir Putin has warned that Ukrainian statehood is in jeopardy and compared the West's sanction on Russia to declaring war. This comes amid a promised ceasefire in the port city of Mariupol, which has already collapsed. Fifth top development coming in. Andhra Pradesh government, being the only state to have deployed representatives in the war-hit country of Ukraine, has upped its effort. Representatives from the state government have reached border countries of Ukraine. Officials are stationed at 4 different regions to evacuate Indian students from Hungary, Poland, Slovakia and Romania. Meanwhile, as the world is watching, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the Kremlin on Saturday to discuss Russia's military conflict with Ukraine. Bennett had previously called Putin a true friend of the Jewish people, said the meeting was with aim to preserve human life. He also raised the issue of the large Jewish community caught up in the war in Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has demanded that the United States of America help provide either fighter jets or at least a no-fly zone during a virtual meeting with American lawmakers on Saturday. Many lawmakers subsequently expressed their support to Zelensky's request, despite critics warning that a no-fly zone or further military assistance could lead to a direct conflict between Russia and the NATO. Remember, it is day 11 of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Attacks continue on the country as multiple cities, one by one, are witnessing a relentless attack by the Russian troops. Kharkiv, on top, continues to be one of the worst hit. Airstrikes have damaged several buildings in the city. Multiple buildings are on fire, as you can see in these visuals. The battle for the Ukrainian capital has gone ballistic. One video released by Ukraine shows badly damaged buildings after a Russian airstrike in a town 85 kilometers from the capital, Kyiv. Civilians rolled up their sleeve and taken to the streets even to prepare road blockades, which means hedgehogs, metal spikes have been planted to block incoming Russian troops. The troops are also headed, meanwhile, toward the Kharkiv hydroelectric power plant near Kyiv. The Russians, we are being told, have taken control over the city of Skostia in the Luhansk region. The scenes in this city, take a look, is of devastation and destruction. Massive fire seen in many buildings in Hostomel also after a possible Russian airstrike on the city. Meanwhile, the next round of talks between Russia and Ukraine will be held on Monday, where they are once again going to discuss ceasefire and safe passage for civilians while this fire and attacks are on.
Поэтому защищайтесь, иначе она заберет и ваши жизни, и ваши дома. Украина в своих не стреляет. Мы не взрываем жилые дома. И все на Донбассе для нас всегда были и будут украинцами, нашими людьми, нашими гражданами у Донецку.
Now remember, at this point, there are different images consistently coming in from the city. And specifically, it is Kharkiv that has been hit hard. The locals are living in fear. People are leaving their house or forced to leave their house, basically, only to buy essentials. But remember, while they are trying to flee, the risk is also to their life even then. Here's a report coming in from the ground.
I had to call myself volunteer to the... Did you hear? I don't know whether it's volunteer or to the Did you hear it? Yeah. Yes. It's a sound before. What is your name?
My name is Irina Beletskaya.
Irina Beletskaya. What do you do here? What do you do? We prepare some foods, sugar tea, and something for children in this home.
There's 30 minutes to curfew.
So, yeah. 30 minutes for curfew.
So we need to go home and go today.
Now I want to say something to Russian people. I know in Russia there are many people who want to be free. There are many people who want to crush it with Putin's Kremlin's, and that's all, the Kremlin's regime. Как будет английский режим? Это что будет? Regime. Yeah. Hey, people of Russia. Right now, me and my son, my family, live in Kharkiv, in Ukrainian city called Kharkiv. Ukrainian city, Kharkiv. Ukraine, it's a country. Ukrainian people want to be free. Ukraine is the great groups of people who want to be free. If you want to be free, go to streets, speak to each other, help to each other, destroy the Putin's regime. That's all. It's not strong, it's not different, it's so easy. Smile and victory. Thank you.
And that means with each passing hour, that 64-kilometer long Russian military convoy is moving, inching toward capital city Kyiv. India Today gets you these visuals of the Russian military convoy that is approaching the capital city from all directions. Several Russian tanks are advancing in an attempt to capture the capital city of Ukraine. 64-kilometer long Russian military convoy.
Tanks and trucks as far as the eye can see. This mesmerizing bird's eye view of Russia's giant armored convoy rumbling towards Ukraine's capital has become one of the faces of this escalating conflict. But after 10 days of satellite pictures, finally a view from the ground. Images published by the Russian military show the giant convoy up close for the first time. Carefully curated images, part of a power projection exercise, amidst denials in Kyiv that this convoy has managed to encircle the crucial city.
Somebody said that it is just to distract attention of the Ukrainian armed forces to concentrate on that direction and to open another road. The second version is that Russians are trying to regroup because now they have quite a dispersed forces around Kyiv, and they are trying to regroup to accumulate the forces that they need for the big strike.
In his delusional mind, he does believe so. That wouldn't be true because even if he pretends to, take over Kyiv and claim that this is the new ruler, whatever he would be, that would not change the will of 40 million Ukrainians who are fighting against that right now. But he indeed is trying to encircle the city. Ukrainian army is fighting back. That convoy you are referring to has not been moving for the past 5 days, I think. So they are not having any way to move forward because of the Ukrainian army.
The superior strength of the Russian forces, looking to besiege Ukraine's capital, has snaked down the highway from the north for several days now. Across bitter, snow-blown wilderness, menacing war machines bearing down on a metropolis that must bend if President Putin is to impose his will on Ukraine.
These are the up-close images of the convoy, that Russian convoy that's moving towards the capital Kiev. In some places, it's extremely close to Kiev. One information that we have received is indicating that a part of that convoy is virtually now on the outskirts of Kiev. The logistics challenge that was being pointed out initially, that seems to have been overcome.
The convoy is populated with battle tanks, armored personnel carriers, and utility trucks carrying troops, rations, and weapons, perhaps for the long haul. While Kyiv city itself hasn't been damaged much in 10 days, the suburbs and outskirts have been pounded by missiles, shells and rockets for days together. The Hostomel air base to Kyiv's north has also evidently been overrun by Russian forces. With the giant convoy now looking to encircle and besiege Kyiv from 3 sides, 2 questions hover above all else. Will Ukraine's capital fall soon? And if it does, will Russia have crossed a red line that brings NATO and the West finally into this war? With Gaurav Sawant in Kyiv and Geeta Mohan in Lviv, Bureau Report, India Today.
11 days are over of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, but it appears that Vladimir Putin has his eyes set on capturing the nuclear plants. Ukraine is claiming that the Russian troops have already captured 2 Ukrainian nuclear power plants, but are advancing now toward the third. According to President Volodymyr Zelensky, the Russians have already captured Chernobyl and Zaporizhzhia power plant, which means, according to the Russian media, Kyiv has been actively exploring possibility of the uranium mining and enrichment. And the United States could have possibly supplied Ukraine with plutonium suitable for the nuclear weapon development. Now, according to the sources, Kyiv representatives have initiated dialogue with foreign companies on providing assistance to Ukraine in creating its own uranium enrichment enterprises. So while it is clear that Russia is flexing nuclear muscles now, our executive editor Shiv Arur is explaining how does Russia target the nuclear plants of Ukraine as the claim is now emerging. Take a look at this perspective.
Ukraine basically has 4 active nuclear power facilities and with a total of 15 reactors between them. Now, Chernobyl is inactive, but it is staffed and maintained, so it has people actually working there. That's already been taken over by the Russians. Zaporizhia is the biggest gain for Putin. That's in southeastern Ukraine, close to the east. This is where the Russians had shelled a few days ago. There was a cat and mouse, claim, counter-claim. They have it, we have it. But for all practical purposes, the Russians have taken over the Zaporizhia power plant, which contains 6 reactors. It's Europe's biggest. Then you've got the Yuzhno-Ukrainsk, which is the South Ukraine nuclear power plant, which has two reactors here. The Russians are apparently approaching. They've already besieged the Mykolaiv city, which is very close to this power plant. So basically, they could control that very soon. So these are the 3 facilities where they are. Let's show you that Ukraine, where the other facilities are. So Zaporizhia is in Russian hands. South Ukraine will soon be in Russian hands. Khmelnytsky and Rivne are the 2 other nuclear power facilities which are not in Russian hands just yet. But if Putin is actually looking to take over all the nuclear facilities here, then it is possible that his troops and his forces might try and encircle those 2 plants. They are in the western part of Ukraine, which is relatively calmer and relatively unscathed in the war so far. So there are 15 nuclear sites, nuclear reactors at 4 different sites. 1 has already been taken over, the 2nd will be in Russian hands very soon, and 2 continue to be vulnerable.
So definitely there are claims and counter-claims emerging every day as Russian troops continue their offensive in Ukraine on the 11th day now. But Russia has claimed that they have destroyed more than 2,100 military installations of Ukraine, which means including 74 control points and communication centers of the Ukrainian armed forces. 108 S-300 as well as 68 radar stations. Russia has also claimed to destroy 748 tanks and armored vehicles. They have also bombed 5 radar stations and 2 Buk M1 anti-aircraft missile systems. But Ukraine is not far behind. Ukraine is claiming that they've also hit back at Russia. They are claiming they have seized 30 units of Russia equipment, 44 Russian planes, 44 choppers have been shot down off Russia by Ukraine. Its President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that over 10,000 Russian soldiers have been killed till now.
These are numbers that the world is still digesting. The fog of war means that there is not much proof, not much visual or material corroboration of these claims, but in the fog of war, such claims are par for the course between both countries, and they're all extravagant. Ukraine, for instance, claims that it has shot down 44 Russian planes. It claims that it has Russia claims that 90 Ukrainian jets have been shot down. Ukraine claims that 44 Russian helicopters have been shot down. Russia, on the other hand, claims that 748 Ukrainian tanks have been destroyed. Ukraine claims 945 armored vehicles of Russia have been destroyed. Russia, on the other hand, claims 76 Ukrainian rocket launchers have been damaged or destroyed in airstrikes. Ukraine, on the other hand, claims that 10,000 Russian soldiers have been killed. Russia claims that 532 military vehicles belonging to the Ukrainian ground forces have been destroyed. Ukraine claims 269 Russian tanks have been destroyed. Russia claims 274 Ukrainian artillery units have been smashed to pieces. Ukraine claims that 45 Russian multi-rocket launch systems and their units have been smashed to pieces. Russia claims 2,100 military outposts and infrastructure elements of the Ukrainian forces have also been destroyed.
But it is the fury of Russian hellbird on the key Ukrainian cities. What is the situation on the ground? Videos for 4 Russian aircraft being shot down by Ukraine surfaced, including a Mi-35 chopper and 3 Russian jets. Ukrainian air defense is now claiming that they have shot down 1 Russian drone. Ukraine, meanwhile, shared several visuals, and these are some of them on your screen, taking the pilots of these hellbirds captive even. All aircraft were shot down in and around the capital city of Kyiv. In a few of these videos, as you can see, and this has been shared by Ukraine, Ukrainian armed personnel can be heard interrogating, questioning the captured Russian pilots. Russia continues, meanwhile, to bombard key cities of the country. Videos of a Sukhoi aircraft flying over the skies of the skies of Irpin, a suburb of Kyiv, have also now surfaced. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Zelensky is claiming that more than 10,000 Russian army troops have been killed in the war till now. But I'll wrap up this bulletin leaving you with these viral images. This is of a team of Russian soldiers who wanted to use the elevator to reach the roof of a Ukrainian office building. But the administration trapped them inside the lift by cutting the electricity and used an industrial camera to take these commemorative photos. That's just one of these many images coming in. Explosions, bombing, shelling, cruise missile attacks. This is what Ukraine, the country, looks like on 11th day of Russia's invasion.
Hello and welcome to our special show, Inspiring Growth. And on our show today, we are going to feature a leading technology brand, Vivo.
Vivo is a consumer-centric brand. We keep on, understanding how technology is evolving. We keep on understanding, how Indian consumers are evolving.
Inspiring growth at these times only on India Today television.
You can hear more blasts that are taking place. We are moving away from this area. We are being told to leave this area because it's not safe to be here. Kyiv braces for an imminent attack over the next 24 to 48 hours. With cameraman Pawan Kumar reporting from Ground Zero, Kyiv, Ukraine, Gaurav Sawant for India Today.
Grounded in journalism, on the ground reporting, only on India Today TV.
As Russia declared war on Ukraine, as the world was plunged again into crisis, with the only Indian team in the real war zone.
This is Mariupol. You hear a series. Hear this sound.
I will show you a quick, so to say, bombshell room tour.
I can smell the gunpowder in the air.
And without pause, India Today totally dominates viewership and smashes the competition. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism.
Operation Ganga, a massive evacuation operation launched by the government of India. In an unfortunate incident, one Indian national lost his life in Ukraine, which has been under siege since February 24th. Russia's assault on Ukraine has led to one of the biggest crises that the Modi administration has been dealing with: evacuation of Indian nationals, particularly students, from the war-torn country. Thousands of students studying medicine in different parts of Ukraine have been stuck in the country since Russia launched its special military operations. With curfews imposed across the country, public transport system came to a screeching halt, with train services running intermittently, leading to many Indians stranded in the eastern parts of Ukraine. Now on evacuation, Operation Ganga. Modi government launched a massive evacuation program to bring back Indians stranded in Ukraine. As of 1st of March, according to Indian officials, around 9,000 Indian nationals have been evacuated. A 24/7 control center has been set up to assist the evacuation of Indians through the border crossing points with Hungary, Poland, Romania and the Slovak Republic. A dedicated Twitter handle, OpGanga Helpline, has also been created to disseminate all information related to the evacuation. The first batch of evacuees, comprising 219 Indian nationals, returned to India on the 26th of February. A flight from Bucharest took those nationals.
A quick look now at all the haunting images that are defining images from day 1 to day 11 of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Here are some of them. Let's begin first. Now, the Russia-Ukraine war has intensified on day 11. The northern city of Ukraine, Chernihiv, witnessed a massive fire. Several houses have been destroyed completely after an airstrike. This image on your screen shows a gush of black smoke coming out of burnt houses, completely charred. Image number 2 is another turbulent night reported in Kharkiv, which is facing shelling and firing. Fresh airstrikes carried out in the city, resulting in several buildings that have caught fire. Image number 3 comes from Belgorod, a Russian city which is 40 kilometers north of the border with Ukraine, witnessing a massive explosion. This visual on your screen shows the site of what residents of the city woke up to: a massive explosion. Image number 4 is the northern city of Ukraine, Chernihiv, witnessing a massive fire in the wee hours of Saturday after intense shelling by the Russian forces. Several houses, residential properties completely destroyed. That's not all. Massive fire seen in many buildings in Hostomel after a possible Russian airstrike in the city. Earlier, remember, an Antonov AN-225, the largest plane in the world, was destroyed in shelling at the Hostomel airport. But the image number 6 on your screen now shows the drone shot of the Russian military deployed in the southern city of Ukraine, Kherson. But it is mass destruction, the aftermath, that is captured on drone camera from the eastern town of Ukraine, Shastia in Luhansk. Images show several high-rise buildings completely gutted, collapsed. But there is smoke, flame, flare. This is how the city of Irpin looked before the sunrise. Intense overnight firing, leading to take a look at as a city burns. Image number 9 is of a residential house that can be seen gutted in fire in Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, on Saturday. Non-stop attacks by the Russian forces. Kharkiv continues to suffer massive damages. But it is this claim and counter-claim. Ukraine sharing a video of shooting down, as they claim, a Russian Mi-35 chopper near Kyiv on Saturday. In what looks like a Stinger missile hitting the military chopper, it busts into flame, explodes as it hits the ground. Ukraine says it has shot down also a Russian jet near the city of Chernihiv on Saturday. Ukraine is claiming to have captured the pilot, while they have shared the video of this alleged co-pilot of the jet killed in the crash. On Saturday, Ukrainian officials are further claiming that they shot down one Russian plane in the city of Oshakiv and claims to have captured the Russian pilot. Shelling and attacks on civilian populations killed dozens in Ukraine's eastern Kharkiv region since the beginning of Russian invasion. This video clip from Saturday shows Russian armored personnel carriers and other military vehicles captured by Ukrainian armed forces. But the only channel that you have shown trust to is India Today, because we have on the ground our reporters on different locations. But Gaurav Sawant from day one has been bringing you at utmost life risk to get you these reports of what is actually unfolding in Ukraine. I want to go across to him now. Gaurav, over to you. And what is the current status there in the country and in different cities that you have been reporting from? Over to you, Gaurav.
We are right now near an underground shelter in the heart of Kiev. You can see there are personnel around me. What you can also see is sandbags being put all over this place. Even as you and I speak, this is Kiev bracing for an imminent air attack. Volunteers are coming forward, as you see in these images. Now, these are gunny bags filled with sand, and they are being stacked up one on top of the other. This is full of sand that's been brought into this area, and one after the other, this place is being stacked up as Kiev braces. Now that attack, that aerial attack, whether it's missiles, rockets or air-to-ground attacks, that can happen anytime. But just look all around me. There are soldiers inside. There is a shelter inside. This is a metro underground, and all over now sandbags are being put. This just shows that any time that attack could happen, and we are showing you this area as we walk across, because this is the heart of the national capital, Kiev in Ukraine. Now, as you look at Kiev all around you, what do you see? Hedgehogs, barricades, barriers, soldiers and protection of the national capital. This is all that you see all around you, and a lot of sandbags being brought in, because now it is being said, we've seen what's happening around Kiev. You're looking at what's happening in Kharkiv. They've seen what's happened in Kherson. The shoulders of Kiev also being targeted. There have been a number of attacks and a series of attacks that have taken place in Irpin, not far from where we are. Attacks have taken place in Chernihiv. Attacks have also been taking place in Ostomel. Air defense of Kiev is systematically being targeted by the Russians. Now they will move into Kiev. So all you notice all around is efforts to protect Kiev from that imminent Russian air attack, air and missile attack. People actually have been asked now, those who are not a part of the effort to protect Kiev, to move to safer areas, and a large number of people are moving to safer areas. They're going to the suburbs because it is hoped that suburbs will be safe. They're also moving to villages around, living with perfect strangers and yet contributing to the war effort, whether it's making camouflage nets, or it's preparing Molotov cocktails, or preparing bandages, or driving vehicles. They need a lot of drivers to drive vehicles for ambulances and to carry resources and supplies to the soldiers, because frontline now is no longer in Donbass or in Odessa or in the Sea of Azov. The front lines now are on the outskirts of Kiev. So all efforts being made right now, Pooja, is to protect the national capital, and every individual is a part of that effort to protect, as they say, their motherland and their honor. This is now a fight for the self-respect in face of this very imminent and big Russian attack that's expected anytime if talks do not succeed. Pooja.
Gaurav, because you've been there from day 1 to day 11 today, and you've been, I can see, driving across different cities to actually assess the situation. Which city do you think at this point is still the worst? Is it Kharkiv? And this is while Kiev, the capital city, is awaiting possibly an imminent airstrike, as you're telling us.
Kharkiv is very badly impacted. In fact, even this morning, there were airstrikes and missile strikes. There were reports of airstrikes and missile strikes in Kharkiv. But, you know, the way the Russians are moving forward, they're very systematically taking down defenses. Kyiv Gas put out a report a short while back saying they will not be able to provide gas because gas supply has been disrupted to multiple areas in Kharkiv, in Irpin, in Ostomel and 2 other places. And they're saying because of this full-scale Russian invasion, they will not be able to restore gas. The Ukrainians are also saying that there is a systematic effort to capture their nuclear power plants. Chernobyl may have been symbolic, but Zaporozhye is a real attack. The Russian forces are less than 100 miles from the other nuclear power plant in Khanhaiv that we're being told. This is an indication that the Russians also want to control energy supply. It is extremely cold. In the morning it was -4. It was snowing early this morning here. Now, if it's biting cold and there is no energy, there is no power, there is no water, like it's the case in Mariupol, how long will a city or a country be able to withstand the Russian onslaught? So it's a very systematic offensive that the Russians have mounted. When will this attack on Kyiv happen is anybody's guess, or probably the Russian commanders and Ukrainian commanders know. But on ground, they're bracing for it and saying the way these preparations are on, they're saying it could happen anytime in the next 24 to 48 hours, Pooja.
Gaurav, it is, incredible the manner in which 11 days Ukraine claims it has managed to put on, as they are calling it, a resistance. But what precisely is about the 64-kilometer military convoy that you've also reported about? That long kilometer convoy that has been heading toward the capital city. You've watched Kyiv change over these past 11 days. But that appears to be imminent. Can you also shed focus on how that is going to take place? What is the plan of action by Russia? Because that appears to be probably the final assault that Russia would want to claim on.
Let me get a resident of Kyiv to respond to that question that you have posed. And he's been speaking to the army, he's been speaking to the police and to locals and to the political leadership. Mr. Kuldeep Kumar, a businessman here in Kyiv, with me, also guiding us through a lot of our travel across the capital and the suburbs and the fighting areas where the fighting is taking place. ये जो कहा जा रहा है कि अब किसी भी समय हमला हो सकता है, क्या आप मानते हैं कि अब वो स्थिति आ गई है कि कीव पर अब किसी भी समय हमला हो सकता है?
मान तो मैं 2 दिन से रहा हूं, लेकिन कुछ लग नहीं रहा। फिर भी लोगों पर ऐसा कुछ डर ही मुझे महसूस नहीं हो रहा। देखिए यहाँ पे घूम रहे हैं, गाड़ियां चल रही हैं। हमला तो देखिए होगा, क्योंकि आसपास बारिशपोल के पास जैसे सुनने में आया पहुंच चुके हैं लोग, बूचा में पहुंच चुके हैं, इधर ब्रावरी में पहुंच चुके हैं। हमला किसी भी वक्त हो सकता है, लेकिन करेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें मिल नहीं पा रही है अभी तक।
जो आप आर्मी के अधिकारियों से बात कर रहे हैं, जो सेना जिस तरह की तैयारी कर रही है, जो पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप यहाँ की तैयारी कर रही है, क्या वो बातचीत के जरिए समाधान की तरफ इशारा करता है या फिर वो आखिरी बड़ी लड़ाई की तरफ इशारा कर रहा है?
अभी तक जो लग रहा है उससे तो आखिरी बड़ी लड़ाई की तरफ इशारा है। ऐसा नहीं लगता कि मुझे समाधान होगा। अगर समाधान होना होता तो कई दिन पहले हो गया होता, क्योंकि जैसे प्रेसिडेंट व्लादिमीर पुतिन ने कहा भी है कि कीव पर ही मेरा जो नेक्स्ट टारगेट मेरा कीव ही है। तो वेट कर रहे हैं, लेकिन लोग तैयार बैठे हैं, पीछे हटने को तैयार नहीं है, लड़ने को तैयार हैं।
ये जो ऊर्जा रोकी गई है कई जगहों पर, मतलब गैस सप्लाई, कीव गैस ने कहा कि 6 जगहों पर वो गैस सप्लाई नहीं कर पा रहे क्योंकि ये फुल स्केल रशियन इन्वेजन है, इस समय तो रेस्टोर नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। तो अगर न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट पर भी रशिया कब्जा करने की बात कर रहा है और गैस सप्लाई भी रुक जाएगी, तो इस हाड़ कपाने वाली सर्दी में कब तक झेल पाएंगे?
देखिए, लकड़ियाँ लोगों ने घर में स्टॉक करके रखी हुई हैं। ऐसा होगा तो लकड़ियों को यूज़ करेंगे, लेकिन मेरे घर पे अभी गैस है, यानी कि कीव में अभी गैस पे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आया। इट मीन्स हो सकता है ये ट्राई कर रहे हों, लेकिन हर जगह पर इनको मुंह की खानी पड़ रही है और ये लोग वो नहीं कर पा रहे जो ये चाहते हैं कई वक्त से। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतनी जल्दी ये इस पर सब चीज़ों पर जो वो चाहते हैं कब्जा कर पाएंगे और हमारी लाइट नहीं मिलेगी या गैस नहीं मिलेगी, ऐसा अभी तक तो नहीं लगता। 2 घंटे बाद क्या होगा उसकी मैं आपको कोई गारंटी नहीं दे सकता हूँ, लेकिन अभी तक ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं लग रहा है। शुक्रिया.
धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए कुलदीप जी. So that's a very significant point he's making, that the Russians are trying and they're trying hard, but the resistance continues. In fact, those soldiers who are going to the front lines even now, there are two very prominent sites they come to. One is this signboard that says "I love Ukraine." They come here. There is another very significant, and let's see if we can just walk across there in a moment, Pooja. There is a memorial here of the fallen soldier, and we'll try and show you that memorial of the fallen soldier. They pay their respects to the memorial of the fallen soldier here before they go to the front lines, because they're saying, you have kept our country safe so far. We salute you and we hope to walk in your footsteps and keep this country safe. I had a chance to interact with some of those soldiers who came here, paid their respects at this memorial of the fallen martyrs, and then they proceeded to the front lines. So the resistance is there. The resistance is very apparent and not just restricted to the armed forces. Their will to resist is tremendous. But how long with that will, but without the weapons, can they sustain it, remains the big challenge, Pooja.
R is uncertain, and as Kuldeep Kumar also said, that it appears it's fine for now, but we don't know till when. Gaurav, if you find it safe, and if I may request you, what about the barricades that have been put around you? Are there more barricades beyond the underground subway where you were standing, as you were showing? If you can show us a bit of the situation around you, because it appears normal, but of course even the citizens know there is nothing normal in Ukraine right now.
These hedgehogs, the factories that otherwise manufacture other things are now manufacturing any steel plant, any welding plant, any iron, any industry that's engaged with any iron works. They have stopped everything. All that they're manufacturing are these hedgehogs, these barriers, and these are extremely crucial. This is iron. It's a cross, this is a barrier. Their aim is to block the advance of the Russian tanks and the Russian armored personnel carriers. But it's not just these hedgehogs. And just look around. I mean, all over this place in multiple layers. This is layer 1. Then those concrete boulders there. You see those concrete boulders here, and you see concertina wire has also been brought in. Every day this level of security actually increases another grade. Like, look, this barbed wire, this concertina wire has also been brought in. This is actually the last line of defense. Yesterday we were reporting from the first line of defense, which is on the outskirts of Kyiv, where they have their ATGMs and their SAM systems, the anti-tank guided missiles and the surface-to-air missiles and everything which is aimed to stop the Russian tanks at the entry of Kyiv. And that actually extends to quite a bit of a distance. We were at one such point. This, in a way, is the last line of defense, because if they come here, reaching the presidential palace it won't be very difficult. But even that last-ditch effort will even be made here. And again, this is in multiple layers. One layer of these iron blocks, then those concrete boulders, then the sandbags, then tires filled with sand, and then the next layer, and each protected by soldiers guarding these defenses, because no defense is worth anything if it's not, that obstacle is not manned to stop the advance of the Russians. Similarly, on top of some of these buildings, I'm not pointing in that direction specifically, but on top of some of these buildings, when the Russians will move in with their tanks, they will have attack helicopters protecting their ground convoy, and they may even have fighter jets protecting that advance. So it's a very systematic military operation that is mounted. The counter to that is also, at least as of now, as far as the Ukrainians tell us, equally effective in terms of steps they are taking. So their effort is to take down the aircraft, take down the helicopters, and just yesterday they've released pictures of a Su-27 being shot down by a surface-to-air missile and the air defense system operational, and of course using ATGMs to bring down tanks. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry claims in the past 10 days, today's day 11 of the war, in the past 10 days, they have brought down 88 fighter jets, attack helicopters and transport helicopters. And this, they say, is a huge loss for the Russian army. The Russian armed forces say that they have brought down more than 90 fighter jets, including many on ground. That's an air raid siren going up once again, which means which means an air attack is imminent. That's an air raid siren going up here in Kiev, and this is the heart of Kiev. So if an air raid siren is going up here, it could point to perhaps an incoming hostile. It could be an aircraft that's coming in. It could be, a missile coming in. We do not know. But the air raid siren is just going off here in Kiev. But look at the soldier. He's still standing proud. He is not moving. You don't mind. You're not scared of the air raid siren. Okay? Strong, not scared of the air raid siren. The people are not scared of the air raid siren either. You're not scared of the air raid sirens, I notice. But they are moving down towards the bunker, at least for protection. Air raid siren going off right in the heart of Kiev. Is this an indication that something could happen? We'll head down to the bunker just briefly, as is the norm. Come, let me take you down. So the moment an air raid siren comes up, you're supposed to head to the nearest bunker. We are heading down for some time. We will be reporting from here for a bit till the time there's more clarity on what this siren is. More often than not, this is just an incoming siren. Blares for some time, people move to safer areas, stick around there for a couple of hours, and then they come back once again. Yesterday, of course, when this air raid siren went up, for close to 4-5 hours, in some areas, people had to remain indoors. But for the moment, I will toss back to you, Pooja. We'll reconnect in just a moment, because now the indication is that we should move in deeper and we lose signal once we go inside there. So for the moment, it's over to you. I'll join you in just a moment or two.
Please stay safe, and thank you for getting us this ground report. Remember, it is because of this ground reportage by Gaurav Sawant that country is watching and trusting India today. We are getting you verified information and at great risk, as Gaurav is saying. But he's just going down the bunker for now, while the air raid siren has been announced. That has been happening consistently for days now. But apart from Gaurav, there's also Rajesh Pawar, who's been the only Indian now to reach Irpin, the city that has been hit by relentless Russian air attacks. Here's now Rajesh Pawar's world-exclusive report, getting you to understand what Ukraine looks like right now. Take a look at this report.
It's very close. It was just on top of us. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground there. Bomb very close to us is fell down. Everybody's on the ground. Everybody's on the ground here. And this very close. It's like just a few meters away. Everybody's on the ground running now. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Boom, just. It's very close. It's very close. And the bombing is coming closer to us. Everybody's running now to take place. The cars, whatever they have. Panic everywhere. Even militia and military is running. Everybody is running now. All vehicles leaving. Panic. It's very close. It was just on top of us. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground there. Bomb very close to us is fell down. Everybody's on the ground. Everybody's on the ground here. And this very close. It's like just a few meters away. Everybody's on the ground running now. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Boom, just. It's very close. very close, and the bombing is coming closer to us. Everybody's running now to take place. The cars, whatever they have, panic everywhere. Even militia and military is running. Everybody is running now. All vehicles leaving. Panic everywhere. Bombs falling very close. People fleeing. Here, this is the entrance to Irpin city, and that's on the blue board. If you can read it, that's again. There's another blast, and the firing's taking place just a kilometer away, and that's written Bucha district. That's written Bucha district. That's Bucha district, and there we are. Smoke's just. This is where it fell just now. You see the smoke rising just 50 meters from here. That's where the bomb fell right now. 50 meters from here, if you can see, that's where the round has hit. The rocket has hit right now. And there's still civilians running. If you see, there's still people who are left behind. They're running, coming from this town, which had not vacated it so far. The smoke is just 100 meters away from here where the last round hit. And continuous firing is taking place. Right now, tank battle is going on, and continuous rockets are firing in this direction right now. There are the civilians, some of the civilians still running in panic, scared, and these are people who are left behind for whatever reason, I don't know. And buses have been placed on the other side here. The buses have been placed by the local administration for these people to evacuate them. And this is the last point where militia is there. Beyond that, there is no militia, only the Ukrainian army. Okay, I'm here in the town of Irpin, that side, and that's the firing taking place now. Continuous bombing and firing taking place, and this is the town of Irpin. There are a few people who are left behind, leaving it right now, and this is the last barricade, and that's it written Irpin, last barricade of militia. Beyond that, 1 kilometer is Russian army and Ukrainian army in contact. 1 kilometer from here, tanks and machine guns firing continuously. You can see black smoke rising from here. Just now, a building got hit here with the black smoke all over the sky. And this is Rajesh Pawar reporting for India Today. We are 1 kilometer away from where the fighting is taking place between the Russian forces and the Ukrainian forces. And this is the last checkpoint of the militia here. There's a bomb blast. You can hear the bombs are being fired, the rockets are being fired. And these are civilians which are being evacuated by the militia in this area. With all the civilians which are fleeing this area now being evacuated by the militia, and this whole area is swarming with people with weapons in civil dress, some of them black dresses, and they're all militia. Army is a kilometer ahead from here, and we can hear the rockets firing or the tanks firing on each other. These are buses which have been placed to take the civilians away. And all these people are fleeing this area who stayed back for whatever reason are now leaving the area because intense fighting is taking place in this place. And this is Irpin. I'm in Irpin right now. Firing taking place, bombs are blasting, and these are civilians running from this area who are left behind. There's black smoke rising there in the buildings, and the bombs are being fired. Tanks are firing onto the buildings here. And these are civilians which are evacuating this area. They are evacuating this area in hurry. They are running around. And these are people who are left behind. And now they are fleeing the area. Continuous firing is taking place. And black smoke is rising from the buildings in the background. There's a rocket fire everywhere. And this is in Irpin right now. Continuous firing from both sides is going on. Since we came here, it's continuous firing by rockets and by tanks, and whatever civilians were left, they're fleeing this area. Buses have been placed. Black smoke is rising there from the buildings. And this is 1 kilometer away from the front line where Russian forces and the Ukrainian forces are face to face, firing at each other. And this is in Irpin. This is northwest of Kyiv city, just on the outskirts of Kyiv city, about 10 kilometers away from where the city limits start. It's very close. It was just on top of us. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground there. Bomb very close to us has fell down. Everybody's on the ground. Everybody's on the ground here. And this very close. It's like just a few meters away. Everybody's on the ground running now. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. It's very close. It's very close. And that bombing is coming closer to us. Everybody's running now to take place. The cars, whatever they have. Panic everywhere. Even militia and military is running. Everybody is running now. All vehicles leaving. Panic. It's very close. It was just on top of us. Everybody on the ground. Everybody on the ground there. Bomb very close to us has fell down. Everybody's on the ground. Everybody's on the ground here. And this very close. It's like just a few meters away. Everybody's on the ground running now. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place. It's very close. It's very close. And that bombing is coming closer to us. Everybody's running now to take place. The cars, whatever they have. Panic everywhere. Even militia and military is running. Everybody is running now. All vehicles leaving. Panic everywhere. Bombs falling very close. People fleeing.
That's our reporters taking enormous risk to get you these ground updates. And this is what Ukraine looks like. Day 1 to day 11. Remember, it's day 11 of Ukraine's invasion, of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. And one by one, you can see each day there are explosions, cruise missile attacks, fire on buildings that continue across different cities. We'll continue to get you updates on that from 4 p.m. Shiv Arur with the continuous coverage.
Hello and welcome to our special show, Inspiring Growth. And on our show today, we are going to feature a leading technology brand, Vivo.
Vivo is a consumer-centric brand. We keep on, understanding how technology is evolving. We keep on understanding, how Indian consumers are evolving.
Inspiring growth at these times only on India Today television.
As Russia declared war on Ukraine, as the world was plunged again into crisis, with the only Indian team in the real war zone.
This is Mariupol. You hear a series. Hear this sound.
I will show you a quick, so to say, bombshell room tour.
I can smell the gunpowder in the air.
And without pause, India Today totally dominates viewership and smashes the competition. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism. When it's the world's biggest news story, there's only one gold standard of journalism. This is Ukraine's true danger zone. Up close and fearless in Ukraine's combat zone.
You are watching India Today. You are watching India Today.
It's day 11 and the conflict combat activities have increased. We have just received the most dramatic frontline war reporting from a city near Kyiv that is under airstrikes and bombardment. Don't miss the report that's coming up by Rajesh Pawar. I'm Shivarur and these are the headlines. India Today, the only channel reporting, like I said, from the real war zone. Gaurav Sawant, Geeta Mohan, video journalist Pavan Kumar and Rajesh Pawar are the last team standing. Rajesh, as you can see, is reporting from Irpin, right in the middle of an airstrike.
Very close. Everybody's on the ground running now. Continuous firing taking place. Continuous firing taking place.